Patricia, the young lady that you will soon meet, was just 15 years old when her CYS caseworker told me about how Patricia had nowhere to spend Thanksgiving that year. I remember once Patricia's attorney telling her that people want to help people that want to help themselves. It has been a rough road, but Patricia has persevered and continues to work very hard to reach her goals. I have witnessed Patricia grow and mature through the 6 years that I was her advocate. It has been so rewarding for me to see her go from attending classes at her group home to graduating from Radnor High School, where she received 2 scholarship awards. I am proud to say now she is in her 2nd year studying speech pathology at Westchester University. Patricia aged out of the foster care system last March, but 2 things that Patricia has said to me have made what I do so worthwhile. She asked me if I would continue to be a part of her life as a friend and mentor. Of course. And she told me that she would like to also learn to be a CASA so she can help other kids like herself. It is proof to me that what we do as a CASA is important beyond words. Please welcome Patricia Curley.
I became a United States citizen after coming here at the age of 4, after living in a Romanian orphanage since birth. I lived with a family for about a year who were going to adopt me. However, they failed to follow through on their adoption. I was then adopted by a family when I was 5 who was not prepared for the challenge ahead. My adopted parents had 3 other children of their own, and they expected me to fit in like their other children, and I didn't. I came with behavioral problems and language barriers. I needed more attention and love, something they failed to give me. I lived with this family until the age of 11, but they gave up on me and tried to terminate the adoption. I then lived in numerous foster homes and placements. On an ordinary trip to the foster care office for family therapy, I was hopeful I would be reunited with my family. Like all the rest of the times, seeing my family for therapy was hard enough. However, on this day, I walked in with my foster mother and decided to put aside any disappointments I had. By this time, I had been placed in a long list of foster homes across Pennsylvania. I entered the room and sat across the table from both my parents. We sat in silence. My therapist and therapeutic support staff then walked in moments later. This session felt different. I could see dismay in my therapist's face when she started out by saying, "There's something I want you to know." She explained my parents were going to terminate the adoption and give their rights over to the state. Despite all the progress I had made while being in foster care and treatment facilities, I suddenly had to sift through all my regrets and pain. At that moment, I burst into tears. They weren't the best of parents, but they were my family, and now I felt rejected. I lost the most sacred thing to us all, family. I no longer felt like I belonged anywhere, and this was just the beginning. Throughout more than 8 years I spent in the Pennsylvania foster care system, I lived in over 18 different placements and went to over 9 different schools. For the most part, I lived in residential facilities and group homes that often housed 30 or more children at a time, and none was a good substitute for a loving family. I remember one facility that was particularly traumatic for me, where we had very little freedom, very little privacy, and frequent violent fighting among the children. At the age of 15, I was placed in a residential treatment facility in Radnor, Pennsylvania, which is also around the time I was assigned to my CASA, Mary Landers. The treatment facility was my home for the next 5 years. When I came there, I had several emotional problems. I was able to contend with my hurt and nervous disposition through therapy as well as art therapy. I attended the on-campus school, and 2 years later, I entered Radnor High School as a sophomore and was granted the opportunity to advance to the residential independent living program. Mary advocated for me to get more classes than what was offered at the treatment facility. With her help, I was then enrolled in Radnor High School. Going to Radnor changed my life around for many reasons. When I first attended Radnor, it was eye-opening. It was the most privileged school I had ever gone to, and my Radnor classmates had everything going for them in this economically advantaged neighborhood. This made me want to strive to perform better in school. I always had an innate passion for learning and truly believed that education was the way out of the struggles I faced so that I could become financially stable. I received A's and B's and joined the track team. Over the 6 years Mary was my CASA, she always went above. Mary woke me up almost every morning for school, helped edit my papers, and so much more. She was supportive of me through my time at Radnor by attending meetings with the faculty and attending my track meets. Mary helped me buy my dress and shoes for prom. As a CASA, she was only obligated to see me at least once a month, but we got together much more than that, not to mention the countless times we spent on the phone when I needed advice. I looked forward to the nice card she sent offering encouragement while I was in school. Mary and my attorney advocated for me to stay in care past my 18th birthday. The judge granted me the chance to stay until the age of 21. I was grateful for the opportunity to say so that I could have a roof over my head and be able to complete high school. I graduated from Radnor High School with honors, and I'm grateful to have received 2 scholarships to help me with college expenses. Despite the hurdles I constantly found myself jumping over, I always had the grit and perseverance to work towards my goals. I am someone who has cried the most tears, yet smiles and moves on. Despite the pain I have gone through, I have one of the kindest hearts. I know what it's like to be different from others and have been exposed to a lot at a young age. I know what I've gone through will help me have greater empathy for others. After high school, I attended Cabrini University and chose to commute for my independent living. Deciding to go to college right out of high school was important to me. I am fortunate to have received money from grants and scholarships, financial support to pay for my college education. When I came to the United States, I had a speech pathologist that helped me with my language barriers. After discussing transferring to a new school with my mentors and my CASA, I applied to 5 schools that would offer speech pathology. I was accepted by all 5. I chose Westchester University because of the scholarship I was offered and their program that provides year-round housing and many other resources for former foster youth. I realized it was a risk transferring to a new school, but I am happy as well as content with the decision I made. Till this day, Mary and I are close. I often confide in her. Not once has she judged me. Ms. Mary helped to bring a sense of normalcy to my life and has been a great mentor to me. She has given me valuable knowledge and even told me when I was wrong, although I didn't want to always hear it. She treated me with complete respect and has been there when my own family couldn't be. We have shared many memories, including the time she helped me move into my first apartment and brought me clothes when I was in the hospital. For holidays and birthdays, she never misses a chance to celebrate. Mary holds a special place in my heart and has inspired me to become a CASA in the future and continues to be an important person in my life. It is my pleasure to speak on behalf of CASA and share my story. Thank you.